at the WTO. And we also like terms in free trade agreements, as with CPTPP, that have accession clauses that encourage other people to join in so long as they meet the high standards of the incumbents. Fifthly, we're developing a Trade for All agenda in consultation with New Zealanders. Now, this is really important. We've got to show to New Zealanders that the benefits of trade flow to all if we're to avoid a rising resentment in New Zealand that has been seen in other countries. And we've been pretty successful at this since we came to government, trying to demonstrate that the benefits of trade should flow to all, that trade agreements just aren't for the benefit of multinationals, that they flow, they work from the sort of the farm owner to the the worker in the wood processing factory to the multinational. Everyone can benefit, and we're trying to facilitate entry into trade for smaller businesses, for women, for Indigenous groups, just to ensure that our growth is inclusive and to push against this view that it's just for multinationals. Sixth, we're working with New Zealand's network of embassies and high commissions around the world to provide information and analysis that help Kiwi businesses succeed in international markets and provide insights and advice to our policymakers. I'm responsible for NZTE with my MB hat on, and I've got to say I've had to change virtually nothing in it. I thought Stephen Joyce did an exceptional job of taking that forward. It's got a great chief executive and a guy, Peter Crisp, and we've left that unchanged essentially. And it does really good work, and it really helps our rapidly expanding companies that aren't yet big enough to have institutional form to make their own way unguided abroad, and need a helping hand, and NZTE is very effective at that. As a consequence, some of our high growth companies really are growing at quite a good rate, and growing not just in sales but in overseas personnel as they internationalise their businesses. So this is a huge amount of detailed work that lies under this, these 6 elements, and they actually represent a lot of government spending. A lot of your taxes are now spent on this sort of thing, and Winston Peters got a pretty hefty increase for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade at the end of last year, or last year's budget, which is helping us do that. We do think that New Zealand has a slightly disproportionate role in the world when it comes to pushing against this rising tide of protectionism, and we, in times like this, rely upon our reputation for fairness and balance as we respond as best we can to these external factors and help the world go in a direction that we at least try and put a bit of pressure on to get going in the right direction. Now, many people in the room here have raised with me the other pressure points in the international context as they relate to wood processing and manufacturing sectors in New Zealand. In particular, we've heard that other countries' domestic policies make overseas wood processing sectors unfairly competitive relative to you, and that the cumulative effect of these defensive policy settings for manufacturing sectors abroad makes conditions increasingly difficult for the manufacturing sector at home. We're committed, and the last government was too, to doing our utmost to reduce such non-tariff barriers as well as the tariffs that affect your sector, and I want to mention a few ways that we're trying to do that, including through our trade negotiations and also through some of the research that we have underway on global subsidies, which is work that we've kicked off. CPTPP, of course, entered into first and will save $92 million in tariffs this year alone. This will increase to $222 million per annum once the deal's fully implemented. All tariffs on New Zealand forestry and forest products will be eliminated through CPTPP to those countries, most notably in Japan and Vietnam. Tariff savings are about $10 million per annum, but as you all know, it's not just the tariff savings, it's the volume growth that you can achieve if you're competitive with competitors from other countries, as is shown in those figures that are probably more extreme, but that I quoted for beef into Japan and butter into Canada. In terms of our current negotiations with the European Union, collectively they're our third largest trading partner with $16 billion per annum. And that negotiation's been underway for 9 months. Some of the priorities including reducing tariffs and non-tariff barriers and securing outcomes that open up greater potential both for sales and also for greater collaboration with the EU, which we think could benefit the New Zealand industry. We're in upgrade negotiations for the China-New Zealand FTA. We want to secure even greater market access. It's already our largest customer for wood products. $3 billion worth went there last year. We accept that tariffs on processed wood and paper products reinforce our reliance on sales of unprocessed logs and disincentivise value being added by processing and manufacturing sectors in New Zealand. So for this reason, wood and paper products remain key good market access priority for us in the upgrade. So we're doing our best there. We also seek to improve the rules that govern trade in goods, making it easier to participate in Chinese value chains. For example, we're looking to create new rules that will facilitate customs clearance at Chinese ports and help exporters participate in Chinese supply chains. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a taste what we're doing through trade agreements to remove barriers to trade with some of you